Shalom, shalom. I'm calling this condition to fail. So I have learned some things or whatever, but most people probably reject what I've learned. So the term like dog. Now, what up, dog? Dog refers to an animal and not a man. But you look at Egyptology, and you look into Anubis. He's the guardian of death, or the death dog, or jackal. So there's a thing called death codes. So when you say certain words, you're actually projecting a curse. So when you're calling someone dog, you're actually projecting a curse. Also, the word black, nothingness, blank. Black and blank come from the same origin, but of course, we've been told, I'm black and I'm proud. So I'm nothing and I'm proud. It's like a reverse code. But of course, with the English language, you have so many spellings. And so you may be calling yourself giving off an affirmation, something that is supposed to acknowledge or bring forth favor, but it's not. Me, myself, I try not to say the word bless. Be less. Be less. Bless. It's like, okay, people say, oh, you're doing too much. And again, they may have a point, but again, we did not create this language that we're speaking. We were brought into this language. This is not our native tongue. It's native to us now because we were born into this, but this was not what our ancestors had. And so a lot of the terminology, a lot of the words and phrases that we use, today, someone gave to us. African American, you're dealing with two different continents. So how can a person be African American? You don't see Europeans calling themselves European Americans or the palm skin people because they weren't native here either. They just call themselves Americans, if anything. So it's a lot of things that we say and we do, and we don't consider it at all. It's like, man, power of death and life is in the tongue. What are we saying and why are we saying? And a lot of times, even when we come forth with what again was an affirmation, we've been taught and labeled ourselves something that is derogatory, and we don't realize that we just reaffirming that negative thing. Basically, we're wondering why we're operating so low on the frequency level that we are at the bottom and not the top, though we should be at the top. Is because we're consistently repeating over and over the same things, the same practices that got us in this position. Yeah. I like how Moses was basically taught to give an affirmation. Ahia, Ashar, Ahia. Many will say it says, it shall be, is what that means. It shall be. But, what, I see from it is I am that I am. And that's an affirmation. You can look at it as saying, I am that I am, being that you are Yah, because you're his image, which is reflected out of you, his image. Or you can say, I am that I am. So I am everything that I am. I'm complete. It's an affirmation both ways. Both ways have power. But we need to see ourselves as his image so that we can see him in us, so that we don't reflect the blank or the blackness, the blankness, but reflect the body of Mashiach, the body of Yah. All right. Shalom.